I had someone ask me to do a video on wind aiming, so I wanted to cover that. Normally I use my ruler, so I'll talk a little bit about that. This is also available to anybody who wants it. It's on my WGT profile. If you click on my blog and view more, you'll find it somewhere down that list. So wind aim. What I use for wind aim is I use the aimer here, and I'll bring in my wonderful Van Gogh-like art here I've created. So in this we can see that the length of the aiming box, so all the way left to right here in red, that's 10 yards of wind. So how I figure out wind is I think of it as a clock. And a guy named Lizard69, been pretty much a mentor to me. He taught me this very early on in the game, and it still holds true today. I still utilize it. So if you think of it as a clock, in terms of our wind direction, 12 o'clock we'd obviously just play dead straight. 12:30 we would take 38% of that wind. 1 o'clock we would use 55. 1:30 would be 70. 2 o'clock's 82. 2:30 would be 94%, and 3 o'clock would be 100%. And I do that for headwind and tailwind. The only difference in this is when we have a wedge. Because a wedge is going to go higher, I typically add about 15% more to my wedges. Okay, so as we see here, we have an 11 to 13 mile an hour wind coming, somewhere around 1 o'clock, maybe 1:30. So as we said, from end to end of our aiming box would be 10 yards. So if I put my aimer right against the flagstick, you can see it here, that represents 5. Alright, so in this instance, we need to move it somewhere in the neighborhood of about 7. Okay, so if we know here to here is 5, then from the bottom of the triangle here to the edge of the triangle would be 2.5. So then we just need to move it a tad more, so about 2.5 more. Now, because this shot is downhill, we have to think about how that's going to affect the shot. Because it's downhill and we are going to be hitting a 56 wedge in, the wind's going to have a little more of an effect. Plus we have to think about when it lands, what's the ball going to do? In this case, it's going to spin with the wind. So we want to give it a little bit more than we normally would, because when it lands, it's going to spin right as well. All right. And if we've done everything right, then we should be able to hit a pretty good shot here. We want to land this past the pin and hopefully spin it back towards the pin. So we played a little too much, but you can see how it came back towards the pin, the way the wind was going. So that's something a lot of people don't think about. And it looks like I've frozen up here. Go back to this. Yeah, if you just use these numbers, it's pretty easy. If you have 11 to 13, just go right in the middle, and I would take 12. And if it was a 1 o'clock wind, then I would just simply, take 12 and multiply that by 55%. That's going to tell me where the wind will go. Again, you have to think about when it hits, where's the ball going to spin. Now, it really comes into play when we start talking about heavy winds. 30 mile an hour St. Andrew winds, where you might have to play 4 or 5 yards of right or left release after it lands on the green. All right, pretty short video. Hopefully you guys pick something up. As always, if you have any questions or would like to see something, feel free to reach out, guys. Thanks.